In this video, I'll be showcasing a variety of gameplay styles in Battlefield series, taking a closer look at how each one plays. We'll explore the unique features of each segment, compare their strengths and weaknesses. By the end, we'll determine which part offers the most enjoyable experience based on our gameplay across all segments. Don't forget to share in the comments which one is your favorite and what makes it stand out, or the feature that you think sets it apart. Thanks for watching. Let's start the video.
Battlefield 3. Released in 2011, this game didn't just arrive. It made a statement. With its cutting-edge Frostbite 2 engine, it brought us into a whole new era of gaming. But was it really as groundbreaking as we remember? Let's dive into the good, the bad, and why Battlefield 3 still holds a special place in the hearts of many. Set in the chaos of modern warfare, Battlefield 3 blends an intense, single-player campaign with a multiplayer experience that redefined team-based shooting games at the time. From sprawling maps and destructible environments to vehicles that made you feel like a one-person army, this game had it all. The gameplay? Smooth and tactical. Movement in Battlefield 3 feels responsive, but it's a bit more grounded compared to later titles. Running across open fields under sniper fire, diving into cover, and managing vehicles, all these elements come together for a gritty, immersive experience. But let's be honest, while it was good, some aspects like vehicle controls felt a bit basic compared to its successors. One of the standout features? The destructible environment. I mean, who doesn't love bringing a building down to outsmart your enemies? Combine that with balanced map designs and a wide variety of vehicles, and you've got a game that catered to every playstyle, whether you were a lone sniper or a squad leader calling the shot. Now, Battlefield 3 had its fair share of strength. The graphics, for example, were absolutely breathtaking for 2011, especially on PC. The maps were diverse, offering a mix of infantry and vehicle combat, and the audio design, chef's kiss, it really put you in the middle of the action. But it wasn't perfect. The single-player campaign was short. Let's face it, it felt more like an extended tutorial for multiplayer, and while the multiplayer modes were strong, some players found the game's content a bit limited compared to what we'd see in later releases. So, is Battlefield 3 worth revisiting in 2024? Absolutely. It's a game that set the foundation for everything that came after it. While newer titles may have polished or expanded on the formula, Battlefield 3's raw, tactical gameplay and its impact on the FPS genre are undeniable. If you haven't played it, or if you're feeling nostalgic, now might be the perfect time to jump back in. But that's just my take. What about you? Did Battlefield 3 define your gaming experience? Or did you prefer one of the later games in the series? Let me know in the comments below.
laissez des chaînes,
Battlefield 4. Released in 2013, this game had one of the most disastrous launches in gaming history. Despite its rocky start, it has grown to be a beloved gem for FPS fans. In today's video, we're diving into everything that makes Battlefield 4 a must-play, the unforgettable features, and yes, the lingering issues you will still encounter. Let's get started. First, let's address the elephant in the room, the launch. Battlefield 4's release was a disaster. Server crashes, broken netcode, and hit registration that made you question if you'd even fired your weapon. For weeks, no, months, players battled the game's bugs more than their enemies. But here's the thing, DICE stuck with it. Through patches and updates, they turned Battlefield 4 into a powerhouse. Once the kinks were ironed out, Battlefield 4 revealed what it was truly capable of. The gameplay? Fast, dynamic, and with a real sense of weight. Movement felt smoother than Battlefield 3, with new mechanics like underwater swimming adding layers to gameplay. Vehicles? Oh, they're back and better. Tanks, jets, helicopters. Every vehicle type feels impactful, and mastering them takes the experience to another level. Now let's talk about what made Battlefield 4 stand out. The big one? Levolution. Entire maps could transform mid-game. Remember Siege of Shanghai? Blowing up the skyscraper never gets old. Combine this with 64-player battles and massive, beautifully designed maps, and you've got a sandbox for chaos. And the weapon variety? Insane. Battlefield 4 introduced a ridiculous number of guns and attachments, letting you play your way. So, what are the highlights? The variety, from maps to weapons to vehicles, is unmatched. Audio design, top tier. You'll feel every explosion and hear every bullet whizzing past. And let's not forget the post-launch support. Expansions like Second Assault and Final Stand added hours of fresh content. But it's not all perfect. Even today, Battlefield 4 struggles with some netcode issues, hit registration problems, and let's be honest, some annoying glitches players love to exploit. Despite its flaws, Battlefield 4 is a masterpiece of multiplayer warfare. It's chaotic, strategic, and ridiculously fun. The game captures the essence of modern combat better than most FPS titles even today. Whether you're a veteran or a newcomer, Battlefield 4 deserves a spot in your library. So, what about you? Did Battlefield 4 give you your favorite gaming moments, or do you still hold a grudge for that rocky launch? Let me know in the comments. Battlefield 1. Released in 2016, this game was a bold move by DICE, taking us back to the gritty and brutal battlefields of World War I. And let me tell you, it was a gamble that paid off. Today, we're diving into what makes Battlefield 1 such a standout in the series, from its jaw-dropping visuals to its immersive gameplay, and yes, the quirks that some players couldn't quite get behind. The first thing you'll notice? The graphics. Battlefield 1 is a masterpiece in visual storytelling. From the eerie fog creeping across the battlefield to the vibrant colors of sunlit fields, every moment feels cinematic. And the weather system? It's not just eye candy, it changes gameplay, creating unpredictable and intense scenarios. Gameplay in Battlefield 1 is all about the chaos and brutality of World War I. The weapons? They're simple but effective. Bolt-action rifles, early automatic weapons, and yes, even melee combat, it all adds to the authenticity. Some players weren't fans of the older arsenal, but honestly, that's what makes the game so unique. It forces you to adapt and appreciate the raw challenge of the era. The single-player campaign, War Stories, is another highlight. Instead of one long narrative, Battlefield 1 gives us several shorter tales, each focusing on different parts of the war. From the muddy trenches of Europe to the scorching deserts of Arabia, these stories are emotional, grounded, and beautifully told. They remind us of the human cost of war, which is a rare thing for a shooter to pull off. Now, let's break it down. Battlefield 1 nails the atmosphere, gameplay, and sound design. The audio is absolutely incredible. You'll feel the roar of artillery and the crack of a sniper's rifle like you're right there on the battlefield. And the map design? Perfectly balanced, with plenty of opportunities for different playstyles. But it's not without its drawbacks. The World War I setting, while immersive, wasn't for everyone. Some players missed the high-tech gadgets and modern arsenals of earlier games. And let's not forget the occasional glitches and balance issues. Every Battlefield game seems to have a few, right? Battlefield 1 isn't just a game, it's an experience. It captures the chaos, the strategy, and the sheer scale of war like no other. If you're a fan of historical shooters, or just great multiplayer action, it's a must-play. The visuals, the sound, the gameplay, it all comes together in a way that feels truly special. But that's my take. What about yours? Is Battlefield 1 one of your favorites, or did the older weapons turn you off? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Düşman gözcüsü görüldü.
Battlefield 5 released in 2018, this installment took us back to World War II with promises of authentic battles, revolutionary mechanics, and unforgettable experiences. But let's be honest, things didn't exactly go as planned. Today, we're breaking down what went wrong with Battlefield 5, where it managed to shine, and why it's often regarded as one of the weaker entries in the series. Let's start at the beginning, the reveal. Battlefield V's marketing campaign sparked controversy right out of the gate. From the tone of the trailers to historical inaccuracies and developer comments, the community was divided before the game even launched. And when it did, well, it didn't help its case. Missing features, content delays, and technical issues overshadowed what could have been a solid game. Gameplay in Battlefield 5 isn't bad, but it's far from great. The gunplay feels tight, and the movement is fluid, but the overall balance? A mess. Certain weapons and vehicles dominated matches, while others felt underwhelming. The squad system was pushed heavily, but in practice, it often fell flat due to a lack of coordination. And while the destruction system was impressive, it wasn't enough to carry the game. The maps, although visually stunning, lacked the creativity and strategic depth we saw in previous titles. Content was another big problem. Battlefield 5 launched with a disappointing amount of maps and modes, and the live service model meant that new content trickled out painfully slowly. Add to that the constant changes to the time to kill, one of the core elements of the gameplay. DICE kept tweaking it, trying to please everyone, but it ended up frustrating the community even more. The result? A fractured player base that never fully recovered. But it's not all bad. Battlefield V's visuals are stunning. From the snowy peaks of Norway to the war-torn streets of Rotterdam, the Frostbite engine delivers incredible detail. The sound design is, as always, top-notch. You'll feel the chaos of war with every explosion and bullet. The game also had some interesting ideas, like the fortification system, but they weren't fully realized. Instead of adding depth, they felt like half-baked features that didn't impact the gameplay as much as they could have. So, what's the verdict? On the positive side, Battlefield 5 looks and sounds amazing, with solid core gameplay and moments of brilliance. But the negatives? A rocky launch, slow content updates, balancing issues, and a lack of direction made it a tough sell for many fans. Battlefield 5 is a reminder of how important execution is. It had the potential to be a fantastic World War II shooter, but a series of missteps held it back. It's not a terrible game, but in a franchise known for setting the bar high, it feels like a disappointment. So, what about you? Did Battlefield 5 ever win you over? Or was it a miss from start to finish? Let me know in the comments.
Grenade throw! Got your pal. That's more first aid.
Battlefield 2042. The game that was supposed to bring the franchise into the future, quite literally, but instead, it feels like it belongs in the past, buried and forgotten. A game so detached from what made Battlefield great, it might as well be from an entirely different series. Let's talk about why Battlefield 2042 is an embarrassment to the Battlefield name. Let's not sugarcoat it, Battlefield 2042 doesn't even feel like Battlefield. The large-scale battles that used to feel alive and immersive, now they're just empty, soulless chaos. The maps are massive, sure, but they're lifeless. They're designed for spectacle, not strategy, and you're left running for minutes at a time just to get shot by someone camping halfway across the map. And then there are the specialists. Gone are the iconic classes that defined Battlefield gameplay. Instead, we get specialists, characters who feel ripped out of a generic hero shooter. Their cheesy one-liners after matches? Painful. These characters are so out of place, they make the already fragmented tone of the game even worse. What happened to the gritty, grounded tone of the Battlefield series? Instead, we get cringe-inducing lines like, "That was something, right? Yeah, something I'd rather forget." And let's talk about the bugs. Battlefield 2042 feels like it skipped quality control entirely. Players clipping through the ground, vehicles behaving like they're auditioning for a sci-fi movie, and UI glitches that make basic tasks unbearable. But what's even worse are the missing features. No scoreboard at launch, no in-game voice chat, no persistent lobbies. Battlefield 2042 feels like it was released in alpha, not as a full-priced AAA game. Battlefield 2042 has no identity. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It's not a tactical shooter. It's not a casual shooter. It's just a mess. The introduction of 128 player matches sounds great on paper, but in reality, it just means more chaos, more confusion, and less teamwork. The game tries to do too much and ends up failing at almost everything. There's no focus, no cohesion, and absolutely no heart. And it's no surprise that players left in droves. Battlefield 2042 had one of the sharpest declines in player base numbers in the series' history. The community that stuck with the franchise through ups and downs, they've been let down again, and this time, many aren't coming back. Battlefield 2042 is a game that doesn't deserve the Battlefield name. It's a soulless, directionless shell of what the series once stood for. Sure, you can play it, but it's hard to call it enjoyable, at least not in the way past games were. Let's be fair, Battlefield 2042 has been patched and improved over time. It's in a better state than it was at launch. Yes, it's playable now, but here's the thing, it's still not Battlefield. It doesn't capture the soul of the series. For me, that's the deal breaker. I can't bring myself to play a game that feels this far removed from what Battlefield is supposed to be. That's just my take. What's yours? If you're a fan of Battlefield, 2042 is a painful reminder of what happens when a franchise loses its way. Maybe one day, the series will find its footing again, but Battlefield 2042 is not the game to do it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you still playing this mess, or have you moved on to greener pastures? And that's our deep dive into the highs and lows of the Battlefield series, from the groundbreaking moments of Battlefield 3 to the chaotic missteps of 2042. Each game tells a story, leaving behind memories of epic battles, intense frustrations, and everything in between. Whether you're a fan of the classics or curious about the newer entries, the Battlefield saga is one that sparks emotion, be it love, nostalgia, or even disappointment. For every Battlefield game we've covered today, we've got dedicated series of videos diving deeper into their gameplay, features, and unforgettable moments. So, if you're hungry for more, head over to the channel and check them out. You won't want to miss it. As always, thanks for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's your favorite Battlefield moment? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth looks at the games we love. Until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield.